Reporting live from Hyper's Club in Atlanta for Comedy Hype News, I'm John Abba. There's something about hip-hop culture and competition that seem to go together. The war between East Coast and West Coast rappers are a prime example of that. By the early 1990s, several diss tracks were thrown by the two sides, and they both seemed to be getting irritated with how one coast would perceive the other. At this point, Suge Knight had co-founded Death Row Records in Los Angeles, while Sean Puffy Combs would start Bad Boy Records in New York. Rappers Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G. would become the faces of the labels, respectively. What would arise from that would be a series of name-calling and threats being thrown. However, Diddy would chalk the name-calling and threats up to the sport of the game. I got nothing against Death Row Records. That's just part of hip-hop. It's like somebody spiking the ball in the end zone. It don't hurt nobody. By 1995, after other diss tracks were released, as well as a shooting taking place targeting Shakur that he would ultimately survive, tensions would continue to escalate. At the 1995 Source Awards, Suge Knight would say his famous words: "Any artists out there that want to be an artist and want to stay a star and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all the records, dancing, come to Death Row." This was directed specifically towards Diddy, known for his tendency to appear in his own artist's music videos. The same night, Diddy would take stage and attempt to make amends by saying, "The East and West, that needs to stop. So give it up for everybody from the East and the West that won tonight. One love." Now, despite Diddy's plea for the then ongoing war to stop, especially after the murder of Death Row Blood affiliate Jai Big J Robles, as a result, Tupac would diss, insult, would even threaten Biggie, Bad Boy, and their associates on multiple tracks over the following years. This wouldn't be good for any reconciliation because on September 7, 1996, Tupac was shot in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. He would later pass from the same incident. By now, the rivalry between East Coast and West Coast would take over mainstream news and media. And according to the Los Angeles Times, while hosting Showtime at the Apollo, Steve Harvey met with both Snoop Dogg and Sean Puffy Combs separately in order to convince them to come on his new sitcom and squash the beef for good. At the time, Harvey said, "It's an opportunity to clear the air over an overblown controversy. It's a chance to put to rest a lot of rumors, a lot of misunderstandings, and a lot of misconceptions." And it would turn out that it would actually happen. You see, the episode would take place during the first season of the Steve Harvey Show and was titled, "I Do, I Don't." The episode aired on February 23rd, 1997, just 1 month before Biggie's second album, Life After Death, was released. In the episode, both Snoop Dogg and Diddy play themselves as they try to convince Steve's character to let them use one of his songs as a sample. At the same time, Steve's students would educate him on the ongoing East Coast-West Coast rivalry. By the end, both Snoop Dogg and Diddy resolved their differences and neither would end up using the sample from Steve as they would find another artist that gave them a cheaper price. On camera, both Diddy and Snoop would shake hands, representing a symbolic attempt at ending the rivalry, as well as Harvey's attempt to use his new show as a platform for positivity.
Yeah, hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
Well, we came in and lighted up and rotted up. We make music for everybody. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. How about the two of you come to my class and drop a little bit of this knowledge on my students for me?
Yeah, I'm with it.
Definitely.
According to a 1997 article from the Los Angeles Times, before taping the episode during a news conference, Diddy would say, "The media need to let it go and the fans need to let it go." At the time, Snoop would add, "All the kids around the world are watching. They look up to us and they want something positive to look forward to and something to live for. By calling for a truce, we're giving them something to live for." Unfortunately, however, their efforts wouldn't put an end to the violence as just 2 weeks later, Biggie was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting at a stoplight in Los Angeles. No one was charged with the murder, despite many believing Suge Knight may have been involved. Now, aside from Steve Harvey, Louis Farrakhan would host a peace summit after the death of Tupac and another in-depth meeting after the death of Biggie. By now, the East Coast-West Coast rivalry had already reached its peak and beginning to simmer down. After those meetings, violence among rappers wouldn't reach the heights of Tupac and Biggie's murders, a small improvement over the natural hip-hop climate of the 1990s. Stay up to date with the latest news in comedy, culture, and sports by subscribing here to our YouTube channel. And if you enjoy content like this, check out hypersclub.com to get a membership to watch full interviews and more original content. And if you have a story you think we should cover, send us a message now at hyperalerts.com. Reporting live from Hyper's Club in Atlanta for Comedy Hype News, I'm John Abba.